I'm thinking of restarting the challenge I tried to do in November, but I didn't end up doing until the end due to very personal stuff, as I talked about in a previous video. Me surviving a terror attack and all that stuff. But anyway, um, I think I'm starting again. I have been considering doing it again, and I set up the computer a few days ago, and I was like, hey, this is cool, this is fun, having a good time. And I realized, you know what, might as well. And I also kind of do it in a way to smugly shove it in the face of the people who are like, but did you see this video? We're using the. We even think about Windows XP to use your computer into. No. Those people have seen a video that explains exactly what the guy pretty much says, hey, I have disabled every single security measure both in Windows and on my router, something that nobody, I repeat, absolutely nobody does. And he of course got hacked. And it's kind of the same would have happened if you did the same experiment on Windows 11 or on Linux. Guess what? That can happen because if you, it is pretty much the equivalent of leaving your house open and putting a sign saying, just rob me, please." Meanwhile, if you run Windows XP and you have a firewall and you make the most basic security measures like keeping it updated and also not going on sketchy websites, asking a hobbyist, you'll be safe. Now, do I recommend anyone just up and installs Windows XP? No. I don't think it's something that everyone should just up and do. But I think that if you are tech savvy and an enthusiast, I think why not? Obviously, I would still recommend against using it as your main operating system. I'm mainly doing it as an experiment. But I would say if you have a computer laying around from between the late 90s and mid 2010s and you have nothing to do with it, just install Windows and you'll be good. You can do a lot of retro gaming. You can even do a lot of modern stuff. I have this program called Supremium that allows me to straight up use modern day Chrome on Windows XP. Sure, it has some caveats. For example, Netflix doesn't work or Spotify doesn't work, but I don't plan on using either. I don't even have a Netflix subscription. And it does have some limitations from Windows XP, such as an app itself. Can I use more than a certain gigs of memory at once? However, if you only have a couple tabs open and you're just going on social media or just watching a YouTube video, you'll be fine. And there's also Discord Messenger. And if you don't trust third-party apps, there's always Web Discord. It works totally fine. Only caveat, at least in my case, I couldn't get it to do calls. I can call, but nobody hears me on the other side. However, the other person can talk with me, and I hear, and they can even screen share things, so I can just straight up watch anything they show me. It does make things slightly inconvenient in some situations, but it's manageable, really. It's manageable. It's kind of a challenge of not only to myself, but it's a challenge so I can show people that, hey, everyone's fear mongering about, oh, Windows 10 is going to get not going to get support after October, and everyone's just like freaking out. There's people saying that if you want to keep using Windows 10, just unplug it on the off the internet the day it goes EOL. It's like, no, it's not like Microsoft is going, like the second Microsoft drops support every single virus maker is going to like drop every piece of malware. Like, I'm pretty sure that even Microsoft in their shittiness would probably still release like some, you know, end of life plus 1 or 2 day after if there's like a major bug. They released some patches for Windows XP a few years in. Sure, it wasn't for regular bugs or glitches or whatever, but stuff like WannaCry that would be affecting a lot of people, they did still patch it out. My point is, as long as you stay safe, protect yourself, install an antivirus, keep using a firewall, and don't go on any sketchy websites, just keep your ass safe pretty much, you'll be fine. My recommendation, like what I'm gonna do with Windows 10 after October, is I'm probably gonna still use it. I'm probably gonna use it until apps start dropping support. Like when Chrome or Steam they drop official support, I'm probably gonna move over entirely to Linux. I will probably start transitioning over to Linux slowly because I genuinely don't like Windows 11. The telemetry in Windows 10 was bad, but it's something that you can kind of toggle off, and it's stuff that you can easily disable. Meanwhile, the amount of AI bullshit and amount of extra measures Microsoft has put in place to make it impossible for you to opt out of Copilot and AI training, and them literally just doing anti-security measures pretty much, claiming that they are security measures because they expect people to be stupid enough to actually believe what they say. It's horrendous. Like, for example, saying that they're disabling local accounts for safety. What's safe about tethering your account to an online account, tethering your installation of Windows to an online account? Sure, there's perks like, oh, you know, your settings carry over between reinstalls, and that's cool, but I don't care. You know, like, it's not for your safety that they're removing local accounts as an option. They just want to have access to your data. They want to have access to everything, and they can't have access to your data if you're now logged into an account. And it's kind of a problem it's been something they've been trying to do for years, but only now were they able to force it. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be like, oh, you're the Linux, yeah, everyone's gonna no, many people are not gonna move over to Linux, and that's a fact of life, because Linux is still something that seems like a huge deal for a lot of people, for most people, even people who are tech savvy enough and know that Linux isn't as bad as it is. It is a big deal. It's hard for someone, for example, who's been using Android for 20 years almost, to move over to an iPhone, or the other way around. People kind of stay in a certain ecosystem because at one point they get so used to said ecosystem that it's extremely difficult to get out of it. You know, and that's why I'm thinking of making this Linux migration a gradual thing. I will probably start testing out every program that I need and care about, see exactly what works, see what doesn't, kind of keep my eyes peeled on the developments of the platform. But I'm still not going to fully jump ship yet. Though I also don't want to jump ship to Windows 11 either. The most I would see myself doing is dual booting in case there's enough essential stuff to keep me on Windows. The only problem I have with dual booting is that I have a feeling that if it's something important enough, it might keep me completely reliant on Windows. And that's something that I'm trying to be cautious about. And also another thing I want to dual boot is like use 86box and emulate some older hardware just so I can toy around with it. 86box is more limited than what I would want to do, and I unfortunately cannot have two PCs next to each other connected to monitors or whatever. I mean, I could, but I don't have the room, and also I can't connect a mouse or a keyboard to two computers at once. At least not in a way that is easy. I'm sure there's probably a way, but I don't really have an idea of how yet. Because I would like to have a way to run the XP computer even after I do the challenge, because I generally see myself using it. Because oftentimes when I feel overwhelmed by the modern world and everything going on, I oftentimes just kind of feel like booting up that computer. And it could be nostalgia poisoning, it could be whatever. I just see it as a form of escapism. I just try to say, okay, I'm gonna play some old game. I'm gonna like use something that is old to purposely make it a little bit, ever so slightly harder for me to be constantly connected. Like, sure, I still have connectivity. I can still use the internet and I can still do whatever, but it's ever so slightly less convenient, which ever so slightly discourages it. It's the equivalent, I guess, of those people who turn their screens black and white to de-incentivize people, to make it so that they're less likely to use their phone as much. I don't do that. I want to just do something that still discourages me from using social media. And in that month I also won't have access to a modern phone. I'm probably gonna use a dumb phone, or I will dumb phoneify my first gen iPhone SE, which I already kind of done. The reason why I'm not using a dumb phone is mainly because I do kind of need GPS if I want to go around, because since I have moved here, I still don't fully know every single place, every single area, especially if I'm going out of the direct zone that I'm from. Like if I go in Amsterdam, for example, right? I it's a big place, and I would probably need to have map access, and I'm not going to print out a map. I'm not going to use MapQuest or whatever. I'm probably just going to use Google Maps for my own safety. So yeah, you can say, well, it's not. Then it's not an authentic 2000s challenge, and you may be correct, but I think it's authentic enough for me, because I think that what matters most is like um, making sure that what I do is also the best and the safest method for me. It's kind of similar to how I think it was uh, Re- Reject Convenience or someone like that song within those circles, saying that a lot of people want to drop every piece of convenience, every type of convenience, but they can't, and they shouldn't do it if it's too much, because he's saying, oh, try to lower your reliance on XYZ, but it doesn't mean that you have to cut it. Nobody's giving you orders, nobody's giving you guidelines. It's kind of something that you can choose. It's something you can say, oh, okay, I don't need to be on my phone all the time, so I'm not going to be on my phone all the time. Even in my case, I I feel like I'm on my phone a lot, but then I look at the time and my screen time is apparently way lower than the average. I heard that the average daily phone use is about 4.5 hours. I score at about 2.5. Some days two, some days three, averaging about 2.5, uh, which is not bad comparatively, but I still feel like it is a bit much. even if it's a matter of me having conversations with someone or something else. I think it is definitely more satisfying when you make going on social media something that you have to actively seek out. That's something that November taught me. I remember since I would wake up, I would have nothing to do, like, because usually the first thing I do in the morning is I check my socials, right? um in order to do that, I would have to go to my PC and boot it up, wait for everything to initialize, and then go on the internet manually. And I think that also kind of, I would say, kind of reprograms your brain to make you value things that are more important over just whatever's, because you will prioritize the things that matter to you more. Like, I don't know, I'm thinking about it this way. Uh, I will prioritize talking to my friends over scrolling on the internet, or doom scrolling, or occupying my time with useless stuff. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that you cannot or should not indulge yourself in, I guess, some content slop. I watch YouTube shorts every single day. That's probably most of my usage on my smart TV, is just watching shorts. Um, but it does kind of teach you to reprioritize your interests and how you want to engage with the online world, and I think that is good. I think that more people should, maybe not a month. I wouldn't recommend a month, but I recommend anyone, even the most terminally online person, to, for 1 week, put down their phone, grab either an old phone, like a dumb phone, or if anything, like an old iPhone or something that you can pretty much, or even just like, if you can switch to stock Android, and uninstall everything that isn't necessary. And I would call necessary, something like maps for your own safety, alarm, obviously, calculator, the stuff that came on phones like 20 years ago. And music, I would say try not rely too much on services like Spotify, and maybe try to buy some CDs and rip them, or download some. I don't know. I'm not judging. Obviously, I know not everyone is going to be like me and going to like own an iPod, though I would definitely recommend you buy an iPod if you are someone who enjoys listening to music and wants to not be as reliant on streaming. But an old phone with plenty of storage, maybe an SD card put in, should be good. It should be perfectly fine. But yeah, I would recommend everyone just spend a week less reliant on your phone. Maybe even using an older PC. You don't have to. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, buy an old PC or a laptop, because obviously that's not a thing everyone can do. I mean, if I could, I would buy even more computers. I'm still kind of contemplating becoming a tech channel and buying computers and testing them out, kind of like budget builds, but it's easier said than done, really. Though I would say, if you have an old computer, don't throw it away, don't destroy it, don't discard it, keep it. Maybe you might want to use it for something. Just saying, especially if it's not very old, or if it's very old especially. But yeah, I'm actually excited for next month. I'm gonna do the challenge. Actually have a proper camera, so I might film some more footage. I want to use my camera more. It's, you know, easier said than done though, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I think that's about it, so I'll see you all next time, whenever that happens.